Your personal definition of success is built on a number of different factors. We'll examine some of these in this presentation. In your own personal definition of success, you may aspire to be like a role model, or you may have certain elements of a lifestyle that you think is going to make you happy. So you have a sense of direction based on some information that you have either read about, learned about, or experienced or observed. You also have goals that are built not only personally, but professionally and academically. Each one of those goals requires a number of decisions to help you reach those goals, and those goals also need to be defined. We'll talk a lot about that throughout the semester so that you can have a firm grasp on not only your direction, but your goals as well. So now I want you to think a little bit about what motivates you. If you're more intrinsically motivated, then that means you feel more comfortable with being pleased, happy, or satisfied by something within you. It makes you feel good. It makes you happy. It makes you proud. So inner success, an intrinsic motivator, is something that is very personal and very unique to each individual. When you're talking about outer success, which is more of extrinsic motivation, you're looking at things like awards, recognition, monetary compensation. You see a crowd of adulated fans there, or grades. These are all motivators that come from the outside. They are not things that you provide for yourself. So you need to think about how you're stimulated to be motivated. Oftentimes, students will say that they're doing a particular activity because they really need to get an A on this paper or an A on this exam. Whereas other students aren't really necessarily looking at the end result in a letter grade kind of fashion. They are looking at it more like, hey, this is the best paper I've ever written. My ideas were really well developed, or my presentation was really visually appealing, and I think that I'm very proud of myself because I didn't know how to use PowerPoint before, for example. So you have to look at what you're more motivated by, internal factors or external factors. We have both. However, you tend to have a preference for one versus the other. You might find even a difference in your academic, social, or personal life. You might be more intrinsically motivated by personal accomplishments, let's say losing 10 pounds when you've been struggling with that for a while, whereas an extrinsic motivator might be that you're working really hard and got a good performance evaluation, so you'll get a raise at your job. Being proud at your job and getting a raise might be two different things. So you want to recognize that we have both of these in all that we do, but we do have preferences. And if you really become aware and understand these motivators, you'll also equally understand what is demotivating you or causing you to procrastinate or put off doing activities. So what I'd like to do is give you some suggestions and recommendations for how to keep yourself motivated and plan and build some good goals. In your textbook, each of the chapters is focused on one of these particular traits of successful students, and I just want to share them with you here because that's what we're going to address throughout the semester. I'm not going to read them to you. You can find them in the first open cover of your book, or you can see the chapter titles throughout the textbook itself. But I want you to recognize the way that it's built. There's successful student behavior, attitude, perception, language, and then there's language and perception and behavior of struggling students. And you'll notice as we go throughout the semester, we'll keep talking about things like creator language and victim language. And the creator language is the language of successful students. Victim language is the language of struggling students. And again, it might not just be language, it's behavior, perception, and attitude. So as you read through each of these and you recognize traits that you have or traits that you aspire to or wish you didn't have, make note of these throughout the semester because we will be talking about strategies to overcome many of them. The most important thing that you can do this semester is to become self-aware. There's a word called metacognition that really is the essence of this course, and it's really understanding how you think. It's thinking about your own thinking. And the more that you can be aware of your traits, your characteristics, your strengths, your weaknesses, the more that you're going to be able to make determinations about how you want to make choices. You're going to understand a little bit more as to why you made choices or decisions the way you did, why they worked or why they didn't work. And you're going to learn about resources, tools, and behaviors that will help you change that or overcome these obstacles. You also want to become more and more aware of environmental expectations. And especially if you are a freshman, but really it's any student who is coming to our institution for the first time, you can experience culture shock. Maybe you haven't been in school for a while. Maybe you have been at a different school. Maybe you're fresh out of high school. So you need to understand our customs and our ways of doing things, things that we assume that you're going to do or understand. You need to take some initiative. You need to be independent and disciplined and have some self-sufficiency. You need to understand the vocabulary and terminology that we throw around that we just assume that you understand. And you need to be aware of the way things work here, our processes, our rules, our regulations, our deadlines, etc. So you need to be very cognizant of the environmental expectations as a student here. You also want to make sure that you are going to be an active participant in your own learning. Just showing up to class or staying awake doesn't get the information from the instructor or the textbook or the presentation to your brain. You do have to do some work on your end. So you really want to be an engaged learner. You are responsible for your own learning. Nobody is going to learn it for you or do anything to ensure that you have understood the material. So you need to make some choices as to how you want to learn the information, the ways that you want to learn the information, how much depth you want to give to your learning. You want to think about your study habits. You want to ask questions and participate and get help from resources that are available to you as well. So this is the end of this particular presentation. And I want to just leave you with this thought. There's a lot of things that go into the idea of success, whatever that definition is for you. So you want to look at this big word cloud here and look at all of the things that go into an achievement. It's not a quick and easy process. So don't take it lightly and take as much as you can away from this course that will help you not only this semester, but in your future semesters as well.